Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the first. If you're here right now, you're here for the first live Steps and Stages client chat where you get to not only hear from clients, but hear their stories of transformation, ask questions, and find out how you can also make your vision become your reality. My name's Coach Christal, and tonight I have the pleasure of hanging out with some of my favorite people who are my clients. Not just because we grow together, but because I've been able to invest in people and see that transformation play itself out in the world. If you're just joining us, again, we're going to hear from clients all over the country tonight, and you get to drop your questions in the live chat. Our team will be helping us facilitate those Q&As towards the end of our hour together. So without further ado, let's start to bring in the clients. They're going to come in, they're going to tell you their name, where they're currently located, and how long they've been working with the Steps and Stages community. So let's kick it off. Jamil, you're up.
I am up. Hello. Jamil Alawale Kusako here, coming in from Detroit City, the Motor City, my hometown of Detroit. I've been working with Crystal since, October. No. We started over, I feel like we started talking in the summer, so it's been at least a season, a
Yeah,
couple seasons.
at least a season, yes. I like
Been doing some really incredible work together.
Great. Thanks for showing up, Jamil. We'll come
Yeah.
right back to you. Meredith, welcome.
Hi, my name's Meredith Rainey. I am coming to you from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I've been working with Crystal since the beginning. October. That was October, right? It was October, right?
Of
Of last
20, yeah.
20. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Great. Thanks, Meredith. We'll be right back. Lyda Winfield.
Hello. Nice to
Hello.
be with you. My name is Lyda Winfield. I'm zooming in from Middlebury, Vermont. And I started working with Crystal. I actually am not totally sure, other than I know that it was in 2020, and I know that it was warm outside in Vermont, which makes it, only a small amount of choices of being only in the summer is when it first started.
Awesome. Welcome. See, we got some other Vermont people here. Jean.
Hello, it's Jean Chironi from Winooski, Vermont. And I am delighted to be here. I have been with Crystal and the gang here since about January 2021, and we're quickly approaching January again. So it's a little over, just under a year, and so excited to be here tonight.
Welcome. Let's see, we got a little, Juanisha. Hello. Oh, you're muted. Mm-hmm.
Take two.
Hey, Juanisha.
Hi, good evening. I'm Juanisha. I am coming in from Germantown, Maryland, in the DC area. I've been working with Crystal in the Steps and Stages community. I think it's like a year and a half now, maybe something like that. So sometime over a year. Yeah. It's been great. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Thanks for coming. All right. And let's hit it into ATL. Shakara. Uh-oh. Can you hear us? Shakara Marcus, ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia. Coming in for about a year and a half in that same cohort. She is having technical difficulties, but we'll come right back. All right. So without any further ado, we're going to bring all of the clients back. And while we're doing that, as we're populating the screen with some amazing visionaries, some amazing dream builders, I want to just give you an inside scoop about how they got here and what really the process is. So all of our clients enter with the same program. It's called DreamBuilder. It's a 12-week program. Some people then go on to continue that life work into practices that not only create and instill their vision, but elevate their consciousness and awareness into a day-to-day visioning. That's called life mastery. And then after life mastery, there are a few people who are just, maybe we want to call them visionary investors, but they're just kind of glutton for punishment because that's when it gets really hard. And we call those are our geniuses. They are the Into Your Genius group. And in January of 2022, we will launch another layer of our community, which is our Steps and Stages Mastermind. So I want to just go back. Jamil is our most recent graduate of DreamBuilder. So Jamil, give us a little bit of an insight into your experience and what you've taken from the DreamBuilder program.
I've taken I think a deeper responsibility for the ownership of my own reality, of my life, and really living the beauty that I thought might not be as available as it turned out it was, if that makes any sense. So and I think, the work that we've done together has helped me, I think, to really deepen, that practice of joy and beauty and really sort of, yeah, just really living, the life that I want. Yeah, but it's it's been a journey, as you
Yes.
can attest, but I'm grateful for the journey.
Awesome. Awesome. So we have a couple of our clients who not only meet with their weekly cohort, but then they meet outside of their weekly cohort, which I actually take as a victory in terms of our community, right? They're not dependent on me or the time schedule or the pertinent information. They're actually what we call partners in believing. And we've had about 5 or 6 cohorts go through programs, but we've had one that stuck together. Half of them kind of went away and half of them stayed together. We like to call them the Fabulous Five. They called each other the cousins. And we have 2 of those cousins here, Meredith and Wynisha. So Meredith and Wynisha, tell us what actually made you guys continue to work together, what we would call offline.
I guess I'll go. Manisha likes me to go first a lot. I think actually it sort of occurred to us after one of our sessions together with you, Christal. We were just like, we need more, and we needed more. We wanted more from each other, and actually, I think it was Wynisha who instigated it. She just sent out an email to us and said, "Anybody want to talk?" And we all said, "Yeah," and we just started helping each other get through some of the bad stuff sometimes too. Also, like to like sit and listen to each other, and it's just been it's been so wonderful. And we actually just met for the first time a couple of weeks ago, like live in person, and that was amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
That was amazing. We learned a lot about each other.
I don't mean to cut you off, Meredith, but I just want people to really understand what that means. So these people met online. Many of them had never met before, ever. I don't think any of them. Had you guys ever met before? No, never met before online. And after their cohort was over and they had been working together for a year, they were like, okay, now it's time. We really need to see each other's faces, right? So they had their own retreat in Philadelphia. Had nothing to do with me, right? This is what, like, our community is so supportive of each other that when you're offline and out of session, it's still about growth. Wynisha. Oh, Shakara's a cousin too. Shakara's back. And then we're going to introduce Shayna Woods, ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Florida. What you got, Wynisha?
Yeah, I actually, after Meredith started, I was like, I guess I did do that. And I echo everything he said. And for me, it was really odd to feel so connected to people that I had not ever met. And some people, if I'm honest, I knew kind of like by reputation, but not really didn't know them. And to come together on Zoom of all places and feel like energy moving through, I don't know, the ether was really something that I hadn't really experienced before. And I felt like Meredith said, like, I don't know about y'all, but I think would y'all like to meet and talk about some of this stuff and expand on some of this and, maybe even, co-create our processing together, offline. And there was like sort of a really quick, like, yes, we want to do this. And it has, I don't think we have skipped a beat. I think we have not missed a time together in between the times that we spend with you, Christal, in the big group. And that move to be together in Philly was really, really in service of supporting, in many ways, like Shakara, right? Like kind of moving her sort of vision forward to be traveling with her work. And we were like, oh, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. We were on set with her. And it was just like this energy of togetherness and like, you know, being on that journey with people that you can just kind of link hands and be like, y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, unmatched.
Amazing. Shakar, we had a couple technical difficulties earlier. You want to introduce yourself and then tell us what it felt like to have your cousins and your cohort right beside you while you're living into your vision.
Hi guys, I am here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been with the group for about this time last year, about a year. So I'm just grateful to be here, and it's been a big change in my life. Now, when we all met up in Philly, I was overwhelmed with so much joy to have my cousins there supporting me because it was something I wasn't going to execute, but they came behind me and said, hey, step to the plate. This is part of your vision. This is what you want to do. And you can have your moment right now, but tomorrow we're going to discuss this again. And they really have helped me be accountable for everything I want to do according to all the goals I have. And so when they were there, I don't think I've ever felt so much support being at work, because you know it's work. You know, you entrepreneur, I go to work by myself all the time. And so just having someone there, just like I've been walking with you, I've been believing with you along this journey, and now I'm right here in the presence, and I just felt so encouraged in my heart. It was just filled with so much joy because I was like, you guys are really here. It was like, you know, your mom and dad, like you trying to learn how to ride a bike, and then they let go the training wheels and you're like, you're still here? You're still here? Okay. So it felt amazing.
So then, Shakar, first of all, let's get to Shayna, because there's another bridge here that I want to build. But Shayna, please tell us who you are, where you're hailing in from, and how long you've been doing this work.
Hey, y'all. I'm Shayna Woods, and I'm from Delray Beach, Florida. I'm in Boynton Beach, Florida, which is just a city north in South Florida, for those of you who don't know what that is. So honestly, time, like, what is that for real? How long have I been here? I've been here long enough. AKA, I don't really know for sure. There's so many things I could say about just the benefit of being a part of this process. My life has really shifted from those whispers of, I don't know that I could really do this, or I really want to do this and I'm not sure how, or the shifting from I'm overwhelmed and I'm exhausted to no, I'm overflowing and I'm right where I need to be. In so many ways. So I've shifted from being the dancer and always being on stage to also being in the background, being a rehearsal director, a choreographer, being like really stepping into entrepreneurship, and really just like seeing the fears and putting them in the back seat, asking them questions, having conversations with myself, board meetings, if you will. So I'm really grateful for my team, my family, my cousins who have also held me accountable, who have called me out when I needed to be when I needed to be called out in a very loving way, of course. So all of those things were really important to me.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for being vulnerable enough to share. The bridge I wanted to make again was like, so we're a community, and whatever cohort you start in means nothing really. It just means where you enter. we have a private client group where we share epiphanies, energies, resources, celebrate people's birthdays, all of those things. And I encourage all of my clients at any level or any program or any cohort to find a partner in believing that's just above them, someone who's gone through some of the mechanisms and knows that we don't say overwhelmed. We are always overflowing. We turn our fears into friends. We only have one F word that we believe in, and that's feedback. Right. And that we have to really be clear about what we're asking, not getting stuck in the how. So when we get ready to grow, it's inevitable that someone around us probably has a solution or a skill. And Shakara helped Jean illuminate her skill. Jean, tell us what it was like to be in Atlanta with Shakara as one of her clients and as a partner in Believing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hi, Shakara. And I was just in Atlanta not too long ago. We made it. It was a beautiful 70-degree day. And Shakara and Zach, her partner in cinematography, and I went to a skate park and did a video just sort of talking about and showing my process in paint. And I'd have to say that I just saw this sparkle in this woman who was, as well as I was at the time when I joined, just always fighting through the feeling that that Shakara couldn't, and I identified with her. And I was also really excited to work with someone who was really, I thought, making advances with her photography, and I just felt like a sisterhood, like I should go to Atlanta. So I picked up the phone and I called her. I was like, let's do this. Let's make this happen, because I feel like we would have such a journey together. And she walked me through it all, just like I knew her from, like I had known her all my life. And I think what's so interesting about that is that the work itself, the hard work of tracking and feeling like you're on the cusp of a transformation doesn't occur unless you sort of branch and segue that relationship that helps, just like you said. I'm just reiterating what you said, Christal, about taking those risks to form a friendship in real time, especially after such a isolating time. And it's just catapulted me onto, believing that if I could do a photo shoot and a video with Shakara and her team, that I could like live my days like it was a photo shoot. And I could literally just be like, no one's getting in my way. I'm the artist that I am. And anyone who wants to join me in that path, come on, let's do it together, because I did it with Shakara.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Jean. Y'all, let's get into it. Right. So, I'm going to segue a little bit. I know I'm in the white chair, but don't get freaked out. Everybody who's watching, let me just get you back up to speed. I'm Christal, affectionately known as Coach Christal. You are watching the first ever live Steps and Stages client chat, where we're talking about real stories, real people, and real transformation. Now, let me just give you an inside look into how we really start. We start each and every one of our sessions. We're tuning in, tracking our takeaways, and positioning ourselves for transformation. I want to welcome you into our space right now by giving you our opening mantra, which is: a lot of things happen before this, and I guarantee a lot of things will happen after this, but we promise to be here with you now. Please be here with us now. Now, I'm doing that because it not only opens the space for our weekly sessions, but it opens the space for our minds and our hearts to be on the frequency of our visions, not in the past of our failures, not in the future of anxiety, but in the right now, where we can catalyze intelligence, infinite intelligence, into solutions that work for us to take the next step the next day as soon as we log off. So I want to ask the clients who are on tonight, first time you heard that mantra, what did you think? Jump in whenever you're ready.
I was like, oh, she's serious. Am I ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Yeah.
I think I felt like I was, I felt special. Because like you hardly ever hear somebody say, I'm here with you right now. Be with me right now. And it changed the whole dynamic of the entire conversation that very first day, you know, that very first time we got together. Yeah.
I felt relieved. I mean, maybe sort of like what you're saying, Meredith, like a sense of like, oh, like I am allowed and welcome to fully arrive, to fully be myself in this moment, whatever that is right now. And that feels good. Even if you're showing up messy, it feels good.
Yeah, I think for me, I had never actually heard what I'm getting ready to say in the beginning until like very somewhat recently. We always talk about being called out, right? And I think one of the things you have brought to me is this idea of being called into something, right? And so I didn't know that language, but that is what I felt, right? Like similar to Meredith, like I was like, wow, okay, right? And I also felt like, all right, this is business. So we mean business, but I felt really pulled in, right? Like really pulled in and like, it was almost like a hug, like I almost felt like enveloped. And I was like, wow, this is really just this is something really, really different. And I was right. Right. There is no going back. When I hear that, it's almost like a bell, like gong, and we're ready. Let's do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'm ready. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll say attunement, just sort of an invitation to listen, both out and in, together, in community, to listen deeply in community.
Mm-hmm. And I echo that, but I bring it to the body, since the dance is what we do at the beginning of our sessions. And my big thing is alignment, and how we align our bodies and the way we feel in our soul with what we live and breathe and say to ourselves every day. So I'm just feeling that every time I hear those words, I'm like, I'm present in that moment, because the more practice I have with that, and thus the continuance and the expectation that it's there, is like a practice that sets you up for transformation.
Yeah.
So I think of when you hear an elder say, I'll go, and you respond with, I may. I always think of Baba Chuck Davis, and I pass that on anytime I'm in front of anyone, any students. But it's like, I'm present. I have something to share with you, and I want you to be present with me. And when you respond with I may, that means like I'm ready to listen. But the difference is we're listening to each other. We're listening together. We all have something to say, and we all have something valuable to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think one of the things that at least I think changes or is different about our community than some others is that we're all learning from each other, right? And that we've learned that as we are creating visions of our own, it has to have good in it for others. And so as I am building this vision that is really calling me forward to be in a different positionality other than a standard teacher or a traditional performer, right? Really sharing the gift, the vocari, right? The vocari that we are really called to share. I'm wondering, have you all, or if you can talk a little bit about how your vision is also making room for others to grow? Oh, and we have Tracy Burrell in the room. Tracy! Well, I just gave people a hard question. We just had a hard question. So take a second. Tell us who you are, where you're joining us from, and how long you've been a part of our community.
Okay. There's like two. Okay. Oh, I think I got it now. There's like it's happening twice.
Oh, yeah. There's two of you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. We only see one. Your energy's multiplying.
Okay. So I'm Tracy. I'm coming in from Portland, Oregon. It's really great to see everyone's face, I want to say. I've been listening. It makes me so happy. And I joined in January of 2021.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Great to have you. Great to have you. And you're located in, did you just say that?
Portland, Oregon. And I'm
Oregon.
sorry to bust in late. I've actually been here, but I'm just having little technical issues.
You're doing great. We're all doing great. So how has your vision actually made room for others or other opportunities or impacted others since you've been doing this work? Anyone can jump in.
So, Tracy, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, the other day I was, we were at a dinner and talking to some friends, and Christal, you'd been like, this is going to start happening. Well, people are like, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, what's happening in your life? You seem like you're doing things. And so they were asking questions, and it was great. We're having a conversation, but at some point my partner came in and he was like, well, I haven't been through the course, but being with you while you're going through the course, I'm going to do my best to say it like he said it. It was something like, he said, now instead of thinking about what I can't have in my life, I think about what I can have.
Wow.
And it's simple, but I was like, that's kind of it. Like, instead of knowing him, I knew that it was always kind of like, well, I'd love to do this, but I can't. And it's like, that's the excavating the vision, get the stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was real close, but it was impactful.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What you got, Juanisha?
I was going to say that I think what my experience has been of other people's experience really is this idea of when I am not when my vision, my imagination, my sort of hopes and dreams are not in lockdown, or like afraid to come out, or somebody is going to think something weird or whatever, the light, right? The sort of like the light that projects from my being, my energy, the way I talk to people, it just changes the way people are talking back, right? So I'm actually taking some of the language from our work and sharing it with other people. Sometimes even my clients, I may like do a, just a little drop, like drop a little bit of knowledge, and I see that thing drop on somebody's head and their heart, and then like, oh, right, like, wow, I never really thought about it like that. And I'm like, I know, me either. Isn't that great? So, so being able to sort of like share something that like lights me up, people see that, they feel that, right? And then they start to think and say, oh, could I do that? Well, maybe I could. Well, tell me more about that, right? And I'm like, oh, how long do you have? I have all the time, and I'm going to tell you all the things, like everything I could possibly. Oh, too much? Okay, that's all right. Come back tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So it's that like, and it's reciprocal, right? So even in our small group, me sort of verbalizing what my dream is, even some of the little gremlins that pop up, we call it Craig, come in and try to tell you lies about yourself. Craig, sit down. And if I tell my Craig to sit down, then Meredith's like, oh, my Craig got to sit down too. So just that like reciprocity of learning, processing, and sort of like just radiating that sort of like promise of vision, I think makes room for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Juanisha, just while you're saying that, right, I want to be clear to people who are watching. Again, this is a coaching platform. We do facilitation, consulting, but mostly we're in the lives of individuals, and you have a similar work life, right? Can you tell people what you do and how the work you do is different? The work you do with others is different than the work you do for yourself.
Yeah. So I'm a psychotherapist, and I do therapy pretty much all day, most days. And I think that what is sort of interesting about the differences of what I do with people and what I'm doing with myself and what I'm doing with you, it is almost like, again, it's almost like the work that I do is like in this tunnel in a way, right? Like it's in this tunnel. There are like these really specific kind of codified movements that you do and things you say. And the work that I'm doing with you and for myself is like that, right? Like, right. It's open, and there are multiple ways to go, but only up until a certain point. Right. And so I can really, I can have anything I want. Anything I want and I'm willing to kind of put the work in and do and be, I can do that. In the therapy world, it's a little bit different. And granted, there are lots of different modalities of therapy. But, mine in specific is like, it's really, really kind of rigid in a lot of ways. And it doesn't always allow for people to bring to it a sense of spirituality or connectivity, right? Like I'm pulling from something else. It actually kind of closes that out a bit. And this work just sort of lets me be all the parts of me, right? And so it's really, really different. And it's just like spiritually and energetically transformational, and not just like my brain is thinking a thing and these are the 5 things that the brain thinks, but it's like my heart, my soul, my energy is kind of coming out and meeting itself and reconfiguring itself. And that's why I'm still here. It's pretty life-changing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Who else? How is your vision touching others, making room for others?
Well, I want to add on to what Nisha was just saying, because I think it's actually feels true for me too, which is I know, and I think we all know that like the happier and healthier that we are as individuals, how much that impacts the community. And there's actually just no denying that this is real, in the sense that my joy can be useful to you through the screen, through my neighbor, through the person I sit next to on the bus, at the grocery store. All of that is tangible and practical. And so inside of this work, the opportunity to like open that door, that light, like Waynisha just said, like to make that bigger and bigger, can only benefit all of us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Lida.
And I'm go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess I have like 2 instances where I actually like I teach at university. I teach dance in university settings, so I'm always around students. And they have to write a lot, they have to reflect a lot, and I've been getting reports, and the thing that's been that they've been saying this time about me specifically that I've been reading is that he takes us as we are. He's not trying to make us something else, and he's constantly saying that we have everything we need. Like I'm constantly saying, you are everything and have everything you need. Stop trying to do something that's not you. Stop trying to look outside of yourself. But I also tell them that I'm doing the same thing with them, that I'm not separate from who they are as people, and that and what I've noticed is how much more open they are when we're in class.
Yeah.
How much more they are willing to like literally open their mouths and say, this makes me feel uncomfortable, or this makes me feel comfortable. What do you think? And we ask questions, we talk it through. And this is not something you normally do in a ballet class at all. You're supposed to be quiet. But that's not how I want my ballet classes to ever run. And that's not the vision I have for those types of things. The other instance is one of my neighbors is he got this incredible opportunity. He got a brand new job, but it means he has to move. And his partner is like, oh my God. And so he, in telling us, because we're very close to our neighbors, and he was like, oh, it's gonna be so nice. So whoa. You have this amazing opportunity, and now you're gonna shut it down before it even started. You're worrying. You understand that's the imaginations that's not working, right? You understand that, right? and that you're making it worse. You don't even know what's gonna happen yet. So how about we just couch that? Let's couch it. Just go and have a good time, and we'll go. The next day, they wrote me and said, could you tell me what you're reading and what you're doing? And I was like, okay, here you go. And I just sent them all the stuff. I was just like, yeah. They were like, you're so wise. And I'm like, thank you. That's what
Right.
Thank you.
Let's say thank you. Right. Yeah. It's amazing, right? Once we invest in ourselves, the benefit, the reciprocity, the return on investment is so much bigger than we could ever imagine, right? And so we know, you guys know, that I do this work right alongside with you, right? I tell all my clients, if you're just joining us, I'm Coach Christal. This is the first live client chat. But I tell my clients all the time, your doctor has a doctor, your lawyer has a lawyer. If your coach doesn't have a coach, you're in the wrong place, right? So they know their coach has a coach. And we are really growing and thriving together, really looking at the gaps in our own mind, our hearts, our experience, and trying to bridge that into the vision of the life we know we can build by design, day by day, through practice, persistence, and living into purpose. So we told you how we start. Then we usually do some dancing, but we're already loose tonight. We're good. And then we usually get into the heart of our time together, which are deep explorations into not just the process of visioning, but the skills and assets that it takes to do that. And the first thing we do after we've gotten past the first 3 weeks of DreamBuilder and actually created a vision that we can actually work with by design, then we start to look at the content of our lives, because the content of our lives is the curriculum for our evolution, right? And that's one of the key things that we all often use as a pillar. So I'm going to ask the clients tonight if they could share anything from the content of their life that they had to really deal with in order to evolve into the life you're living now.
Oh, I can speak on that.
Okay.
I really had to make space for all those things I wanted. And I realized I was committing my life to work, and that was not all of who I was. And so I had to really write down, like, how many days a week do I want to work, when I'm going to clock in and when I'm going to clock out, and then designating those times for myself, because I think I was almost burning out. And I said, this doesn't bring me joy while I'm doing it like this. So it really made me just sit down and write all these things out and then start to execute them day by day. And it start to come along, and that space and that freedom and happiness was coming back. And I was like, this is the life that I'm living. Like, this is the life I said I wanted. Because sometimes we could say we want these things and not have them and keep, I want this, I want this, I want this. What steps are you taking to get the life you want? And so with steps and stages, it has really helped me do that. And it hasn't stopped. Like, it's an ongoing process. Mm-hmm. And so, I may slip up, but I have to come back and recommit myself to where I want to be. And so it's a process, and I'm very grateful for the process. And it's just going to get better. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, right. Exactly. What else, y'all? What else do we have to pull out of the content library to get over and rebuild?
I just briefly wanted to say that the content, I see there's two types of content. The content is what you need to overcome, as you said, like, and for me, the case was being the literal fear of being an artist. Like, where did that come from when I even went to school for it? But it was like, I would not let myself get over that fear. Mm-hmm. And until I saw the actual doing, the actual believing and the doing of it every day. And as Shakara said, making space for it, primarily just space for it every day and letting go of any sense of fear for the future. Like, I have no fear for the future because I feel like I'm living in the future.
Yeah.
And that's just so powerful, because if you have that vision so impacted and so ingrained in your being, then nothing, like you said, you can have little slips and spills, but get back up again. You have 3 more things to do today towards your vision, So I think that the content that you finally, if you identify that one thing that's holding you back, you can really, it's almost like scientifically track where you need to be and where you have been, and even where you think you've been, and know the difference, and really kind of acquiesce on the present, and make sure that you're always considering that the content of what you're actually doing is the way in which you're going to evolve.
I have kind of on that too with around making space, making room.
Yeah.
Because that's what it really feels like to me. It feels like the vision, our core, all that, like that energy is just there. So it's getting to it. But a big one for me that was really powerful when we did it in Dream Builders, I think, and then it's just continued on is really having a forgiveness practice, having a practice with sacred friends, and this makes me emotional, like, and realizing how much that could be people, but also the fear, or it's stuff within us and stuff on the outside of us, but and both being really important. But yeah, just really centering into the forgiveness practice was huge.
Yeah.
Big for me.
Yeah, that's a big one. We spend 2 weeks on that one just for the people out in the audience.
I would say, like, for me, for me it was a lot of really letting go and reevaluating beliefs that no longer supported me. Beliefs that I had. Growing up really poor, like having this belief that I don't have enough money. So of course you don't have enough money because that's all you concentrate on. That's why you don't have enough money. That you're not getting anything because you're wanting, and you're living in a belief of lack all the time. And like being able to let go of that, coming from where I came from, was not an easy task because I knew what it was like not to have money. So you want to hold on, but once I learned to literally, and it was a physical, one of the simplest things was like at the end of the grocery, when you go grocery shopping and at the end you say, I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to round up. It was that little thing saying I'm going to round up that helped me switch my belief. But I couldn't have switched that belief unless I was thinking about it ahead of time, unless I knew that that was the thing I needed to work on, unless
Right.
I had done that work. And because I had done that work, I realized those things. And because I'd done that, out of debt. And it was a lot.
Right.
It is bye-bye.
No, I want to bring this to the forefront, right? Because many people are asking me when they are thinking about becoming clients, they're like, well, Christal, what am I going to get? And I was like, who are you? You're never going to get what you want. You're going to get who you are. So people are saying, will this help me get a better job? Will this help me make more money? Will this help me? If you're willing to do the work, it's going to help whatever area of your life you want to grow in, right? Many of you know when we do that first assessment in the 4 quadrants, like, where is this happening? But where do we want to focus first? Because the focus in one area is going to affect everything else, right? There is no professional development without personal development. You are the person doing the work, right? It's like saying I can have any kind of computer, but the operating system can be whatever I want. No, the better the operating system, the better the computer is working, the more impact, the easier your work is. So your operating system is functioning off of that big vision. And that's what we're here doing as a community, creating vision that allows us to grow into the fullest, freest, most effectual capacity of our lives. Because I think my clients agree with me. Like, we don't want to leave here on E. We want to leave here on C, right? We don't want to leave with the tank on empty. We want to leave with the tank on complete, right? The capacity is fulfilled. We have done everything we can, and there are no regrets, right? So, y'all, I gotta ask you so that people really can be clear on out there, people who are interested, people who watch the videos, people who, like the chats. What made you say yes to yourself to do this work?
Well, I want to say, I was getting ready to say something about the content, right? And it's related to this because part of what I had to overcome was this idea that I am the person who is always climbing the ladder and up and up and up and up and up and up. How many master's degrees can I get? Like how well respected could I possibly be in my field? And that's historical stuff about what success looks like, and so much of it was surface. And I think that what made me say yes was I was like, well, this is what I do. I do personal development. Like, I'm a therapist. Like, of course, I check all the boxes. And da, 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 da. You know? However, I think what I really discovered was when we have done, and I have done multiple times, that 4-quadrant piece where you're like, what do you have? What do you want? What do you have? And what do you want? They didn't match up. Like they just didn't match up. And I couldn't quite figure out, like, well, I'm doing all the things. I actually have all the debt to prove I did multiple things. So why aren't these things gelling? Like, what? Don't I read the books, I took the classes. And I think what really happens is that I was like, Juanisha, something ain't lining up, you know, and you call yourself someone who is full with integrity. However, something is not adding up, right? There's something not happening here. And, you know, what I realized is that I was only being true to the surface person that I am, what people see when they look at me and they read, and what they experience as this very sort of like surface, well-developed person. And what I realized is that there are parts that are not quite linked, synced, tethered to like my real longings, right? Like my really, really secret longings, things that nobody knows, but I do. And when I fill in those boxes, I'm like, there are too many gaps. There are too many gaps. So for me, that's what I had to kind of overcome. And it's also why I said yes, overcoming this perception of the person that I thought I was, right? Or people think I am. And I'm like, oh, I got to line up with that because, you know, I'm this person in this country trying to do these things. So I must keep that going. I got to keep that firmly in place. And then realizing that, like, no, not really. Like, that's not your real you. So why are you doing that? Who is that really serving? Is it giving me more life? No, it's just keeping me in my zone of excellence where people love me. And they're like, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, I was thinking that too. However, there's more space. There's more space, and I need to go to that place. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to echo that, all of that, affirm all of that, say yes and to all of that. I think I needed to, you know, begin to deepen a practice of saying yes to myself in order to say no to things that were not really serving the, you know, the visions. And you know, we kind of talk about that. There's multiple for me. And so I'm always in a you know, process of making sense, because there are many visions. And so I've learned to not only say yes to them, but to also be less afraid of sharing them, and being explicit around, um, you know, what those needs are, to really articulate the vision, you know, and the visions. And so, yeah, I think I needed that extra push, or just that extra step in believing and teaching myself to believe in myself, believing in myself. And you really helped orchestrate that. You know, you give a platform for that sort of learning, and growth to occur. And so I'm, you know, forever grateful for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, Meredith, we have this thing going.
I know. You go, Jean. You go.
Mine is short because I feel like my direct relationship with Christal prior to you know, her coming up with this idea and me calling her, I just didn't want to be any other place than in relationship as a key to my freedom, because I saw that being in relationship with Christal and whoever Christal knew as a possibility for myself, not just in that moment, but like forever. Like she exuded that this relationship would be safe and would be sacred, and that it would be okay. I might mess up a lot or I might misunderstand, but I'd always stand up again and see it in relation to myself, and be able to, understand that that relationship, whether you fix a healed and old one or one that didn't go well, or create new ones, is the freedom that you will experience if you stick with that, if you stick with relationship.
It's where we learn. Yeah.
Well, mine is pretty practical. While I said yes, kind of practical, I guess. One, I mean, and the cousins and people who've been in the group with me know that I've read like almost all of the self-help books, all of them, a lot of them, and I realized I couldn't do it alone. I realized I could not do it alone, and I when I got that text or email, I can't remember if it was an email or a text,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, yeah, well, nope, this is it. This is it. I'm doing it. That's it. And I knew, I was like, okay, this people going to be on, you're not going to know these people, and you're going to say this stuff to these people who don't know you, but you've decided that you're going to open your mouth and you're going to let yourself go. Right. So that was the one reason, was that I knew I needed people. I needed a community. The other one was that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of crap in my life. I was just sick and tired of it. I was tired of complaining. I was tired of hearing myself complain. I was tired of hearing, Craig complain in my head. So I was like, I got to shut him up. This is what I got to do. And, as the process went along, like, I think it was around the third meeting, I knew, I was just like, oh, I can't stop after this is over. I mean, I sort of started worrying. I was like, what happens when this is over? What's going to happen? Because we can't be done after DreamBuilder. And I remember saying to Crystal on the one-on-one, I was like, well, I can't be done after DreamBuilder. So what do we do? She's like, no, there's something after. I was like, okay, good. Okay. And then when that came at the end, I was like, no, we can't be done. And so now we're getting close to the end of Into Your Genius. And I was just like, what? And then you came and I was like, okay, good. We're good. Because I was just like, I'm just going to be calling you once a week, and we just going to have to deal with it that way. I mean, we'll do it, but yeah, because I can't be sick and tired anymore.
No, there's no turning back. I think everyone here would agree there is no turning back for anyone here. Right? It's like anything. Once you know what freedom tastes like, why would you go back into bondage? I mean, self-inflicted. I mean, come on. There are enough things that are trying to control, constrain, and constrict our vision. Right? Why would we do it to ourselves? Right? Anyone else? Tell us why you decided to say yes to your vision.
So for me, it was about support, and not what I learned in the process was I didn't really know what support was. I didn't know what support meant for me. I have people in my life who are like, I'm doing this for you and I'm doing that for you. But with it had this level of entitlement of, I'm doing this for you, do what I say type of energy. Not, this is how Shayna needs to be supported. And if you're not able to do that, then there's only so much that I'm going to be willing to share with you. So having that detachment of saying like, okay, well, I just can't tell this person, the deep information or share all of the things that I'm used to sharing.
Yeah.
That was very challenging. And just like Meredith said, like I was tired of complaining, tired of being scared, tired of saying, this is what I'm going to do. And then those tiny screams were just way too loud. And like just allowing them to be whispers and still being able to hear them, but listening to them in a different way. So there have been a lot of shifts within the process.
Yeah.
I knew I needed, like Shannon said, I I knew I needed a shift to happen, because I felt like I was not moving. I was moving so much that I wasn't moving.
Mm.
And I said I couldn't
Anybody
do
here
this
know what that
anymore.
feels like? Anybody? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let the church
Okay.
say amen. But I needed help, and I knew if I continue on that way, that I wasn't gonna get anywhere. I would continue running around in this circle. And it was divine order that you came across my head and I reached out to you, and then you reached out to me, and how I became aware of this platform. But I was like, wow, that was meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was searching for help. I needed, like, what is going to get me to the place I need to go. I needed that push. I needed a community. I needed the support. I needed those steps to get from point A to point B, and then someone to continue pushing me, comforting me, and getting me there. So that's why I decided to invest.
Yeah. Well, y'all, we know that we have a different sense of time, but we're supposed to wrap this up in an hour. I want to just close out by, first of all, saying thank you all for being a part of my vision. And if there's someone out there tonight who is wondering how they become a part of the Steps and Stages community, how you want to grow your vision, this is how, right? You can text 857-663-7837 with the word vision. You only can enter our community by having that conversation with me, right? There's no operator waiting to talk to you. There's no button to click on the website that just lets you in. There's a conversation. We're human beings. I take the alchemy of our community very seriously. I would never bring anyone in that I thought would not be able to not only grow, but to give back to the people who are here, to be a steady partner in believing. So if you think that this community is right for you, if you are tired of hearing Craig in the background, if your longing and discontent is starting to keep you in the circle of stuckness, then let us know how we can help you. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. I can't tell you how amazing it is to watch you live into your vision and to be able to walk alongside you as you live the life you would love living. It's powerful for me. It continues to encourage me to get up and do the work for myself to be able to grow with you. So continue to be visionaries. Thank you so much. And if you're out there and you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you for coming. Again, the best way to start building a new life is to introduce yourself to a stranger. But when those strangers become your partners in believing, then nothing about your vision is out of sort, out of whack, or out of reach. Thanks for coming out, y'all. We'll see you soon. Welcome to Steps and Stages. Bye, y'all. Thank you. You're amazing.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.